Okay, Runesters, today we're going to talk a little bit about casting staves or tines or casting lots, sometimes it's called. This is my preferred method of divination. And so over years of practice, I have come to love this system. It's really kind of cool. It has some historical precedent. Of course, everything else has just been envisioned, sort of inward-looking, outward-looking, kind of a spiritual development between me and the runes specifically. Those of you that are studying the runes will come to your own kind of assimilation or come to your own understanding of the runes and how they speak to you and how they work in you and through you. So most of you will start out with the stones or the tiles. This is very common. Nothing wrong with that. That's how I started. This is still very valid and a great way to learn and incorporate, the runes into your system of divination and self-discovery, really. So yes, through a system of self-discovery and a lot of reading and scrying and looking into the past and inward as to what all these symbols mean, this is the method that spoke to me. And it's kind of the reason I started this channel. Mostly I really wanted to share this and see who else was out there that also works with runes. Because for many, many years, and still to this day, pretty much I'm the only one that I personally know that uses the runes. Through the course of my life, I've met one or two other people, certainly some spiritual guidance and teachers. The lady that ran the magic shop, Tools of Magic in San Francisco, Uma, was a good mentor to me. But by and large, this discovery was just done on my own through reading and practicing and studying. So I'm going to show you what this is all about. I've given you little glimpses here and there, but it comes with, making a set of tines, or staves, and then carving the runes onto each stave. So they've been carved. These are made of oak, like I've said before. The runes are all on here. There's 24 of them. And the way you do it is you just throw them out there. Good basic way to start is with 8. At least 5, but you can do 8. I've got 7 here, so I'm going to take 8. What you do is you just throw them out onto the cloth. Traditionally, it's done on a white cloth, but you can make your own. But you just throw them out. And what you're looking for is runes that were formed within what you tossed. Each stave is its own rune, of course, and that has its own significance. But what else are we looking at here? You can kind of see these crossing here as Gibo. You can see Fehu created right here with these 2 upward facing staves and this one here. And then Hagal or Hagala is right here. And then this one by itself might be Isa. So that's just the basic way to look at it. It's fascinating to just try it and see what you can come up with. Also, you can see Wunjo right there. Look, there's Wunjo. Wunjo's right there. And there's a lot going on there. So if you were to interpret this as a reading, you would call out the runes that you saw. Okay, we see Gibo. We see Haga, we see Wunjo, we see Fehu, and what else did we see? Maybe Isa. So that would be your reading. Okay, so we take these runes and divine from that. It's a really great method. The other method, which I really adore, is superimposing the vision of the 9 worlds onto the white cloth. So for this reading, it's much more intense. Again, you can take 8, 9, 24, however many staves you want, but you superimpose the vision of the 9 realms. So here is the cloth. I have it set at a diamond shape on purpose, this way facing north, right? So you always want to face north. But then I envision the 9 realms as a circle, 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 circle. You see the 9 realms. This is Asgard. This is Midgard. This is Niflheim. This is Helheim. This is Jotunheim. This is Muspelheim. This is Svartalheim. This is Vanaheim. And this is Littlefied. So we've got the 9 realms. These 9 runes are the non-reversible runes, meaning that you can turn them upside down. They still look the same way. So each rune represents one of the 9 realms. But this is important when you're thinking of the 9 realms. And I'll explain that importance in a minute. What you would then do is take your 8 or 10 or even 24 runes, would cast them down onto the cloth, and everything fell in the subconscious area in the lower 9 realms. But let me try this again, kind of give you an idea of what it might look like if it were more spread out. I still don't have anything up here. Everything is in the middle 3 realms, everything in Midgard. But it would be important to where they landed. So when you look at this reading here that I've thrown out, you see this one is more in the Jotunheim realm, right? This formation is pointing to Muspelheim and Svartalheim. Everything else is pretty much in Midgard, except for this one stave here, which is headed towards Hel, or Helheim. Move this one over here. You kind of have to envision them in space on the cloth to get a reading of where the runes are falling in the different realms. So the reason the realms are important in this reading that I've developed is when you cast your staves upon the cloth, envisioning the 9 realms underneath, I've come to an understanding that, of course, everything here in Midgard is present. And this is more of your conscious, present part of the reading. What you or the querent is aware of or dealing with in the present and in your conscious of. This side of the reading is the material side. Okay, this side of the reading, everything to this side is the spiritual side. Okay? This side of the reading is the past. And it's also the subconscious or unconscious. This is the future. So anything above this line is future and superconscious. So future. And higher consciousness, superconsciousness, okay? So when we look at the 9 realms and these different parts of time, material plane, spiritual plane, subconscious or unconscious, present, superconscious, future, right? We get to see the influences of the runes and what they're showing you as a larger picture of kind of the moment, where things are headed, what brought us to this place, where we are going. And so this kind of reading is really, it's beautiful, it's intense, and it's kind of awesome. So when you get a spread that comes out in all directions, we'll just drop 24 and see what happens. You can see what's going on up in here. Those came off the cloth over there. What runes did they form? Okay. What runes are we looking at here? Also, taking a look at which runes formed what. For example, if this was Kinos right here, you can see Kinos is living in between Midgard and Muspelheim. So this would indicate enlightenment or creativity that's coming in between the material world in the present and the material world in the present, right? So you might interpret that as, there's some kind of knowledge or enlightenment that's coming from the present, and it's coming, and it's going to have something to do with your future, and it's going to have an impact in the material world, in the physical plane. Now let's see which two runes created that. This one is Ansu's, okay? And this one is Wunjo. So we have Wunjo and Ansu's. So it'd be like communication and the completion of energies, the communication and the actualization of energy spent, invested, and happiness. Those things are boding well for the material world, the physical plane. So we see happiness through communication. And you can see, how it is. It's right here in the cloth. This is where that rune formed. And those were the two runes that formed there. So to do a full reading with 24 staves, you would just go around the cloth. See which runes were formed. See which tines or staves made up that rune. And you come to your understanding that way. So I just thought I'd share a basic overview of this system. It can be simple, it can be complicated. There's actually a few more levels to this that I can share later. But I don't like my videos to go too long. If you're like me, you just don't have a whole lot of time to sit and watch a YouTube for an hour or 30 minutes. So I'm trying to keep them short. The other thing you would want to be aware of when you're casting tines or staves is alternate forms, and I'll show you an alternate form example in a moment. But there are good books that show you alternate forms of the runes. This one is Idrid Thorson's Rune Lore, which has a great appendix table with tons of different variations of runes. And the one I want to point to is this one right here for Uruz. See Uruz? Normally it looks like this, with kind of 3 lines. Normally it looks like this. Let me just show you. Normally it looks like this. If I saw this in a reading, I would say, okay, that's Uruz. Or maybe it might look something like that. I'd say there's Uruz. But in this reading, the way they fell, I might read this as Uruz. Uruz is like the primal force, the strength and healing. And you can see where that fell in the 9 realms. That fell kind of like in the future, spiritual side, kind of in Vanaheim territory, right? Okay, so that's the basic premise and the basic formula. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Tell me what kind of rune casting you do. What have you experimented with that you liked? And I will see you in the next reading. Bye. Oh wait, I gotta go turn off the camera. Hold on.